I've met up with Mahesh again here this year at Distributech on the IBM booth. Mahesh, we had a great chat on Monday evening when I dropped by, and you were explaining to me a lot of the theme, and I was chatting with Brad yesterday around the whole sustainably electrifying industries and how all of the solutions you're bringing to market stand on their own legs, but where you get the true value is when you start being able to
put it together.
The integrated workflows, the data underneath. You were telling me a lot about the technologies from IBM that underpin this.
Right.
How do you make all this stuff work?
Oh, absolutely. And that's a fundamental thing that we need to understand, right? So if we have to get to value for any utility, you have to think of it from a problem domain perspective.
Yep.
Right? So for example, the utility problem domains are a function of the places where they invest a lot of their CapEx or OpEx. So we focus on areas where we can help improve and also get to outcomes in terms of reducing risk, increasing resiliency. So there are three areas that we focus on from an asset perspective.
Right.
It's vegetation, it's asset performance management, and it's outage.
Yep.
And one workflow from a customer. And you'll have my team talking about how it all comes together individually and together.
Yeah.
But the thing that we need to understand here is what we solve is how we look at outage, for example, as a workflow. And as a workflow, it has three parts. The first part is situational awareness. One is to understand what's going on. The second part is optimization.
Yep.
After you've understood what's the state of your weather and your outage condition, you need to figure out what is the response for that. So you need to optimize and have an optimized plan.
Yep.
And the third part is to look at how you're actually going to do the work. Right? So it's situational awareness, it's optimization, and it's doing the work.
Yep.
And to do that, we have to use a lot of foundational technology to make that happen. Right? The reason why we're able to do that end to end is because we're completely based on an open fabric.
Yes.
Our fabric is a RedHat OpenShift, and the individual applications, as the outage management application, the Maximo optimization suite, and the Maximo work and asset management, is orchestrating data from each of these individual phases and is helping us deliver a coherent story. So as a utility user, you will be seeing a single pane of glass.
Yeah.
But in the background, you've got data, applications, and workloads being orchestrated to get you to value. And this is something that we are trying to do at scale, starting off with outage, moving on to vegetation, asset performance management, and then seeing how these three things can actually influence our customer engagement. So that is how you see the whole picture coming together.
And you were explaining to me, everyone, to people talk about cloud, and people have been selling cloud and using cloud and whatever. But you were taking it on to think that, well, what you're talking about is a hybrid multi-cloud.
Absolutely. So the thing is, when you look at all of this, because like in each of these solutions, the data might reside in a SaaS application, it might reside in your own legacy system, or it might
on-prem,
or it might reside in an environment that you're just hooked up. It's your private cloud, or it could be
somebody else's cloud.
Cloud. But the thing what we need to do to get to value is to orchestrate the data across these multiple places, orchestrate the different applications, stage the applications, right? So what we as IBM do uniquely is, we are not about the infrastructure choice. We are about the outcome that you want to drive, and how to use technologies to enable an outcome.
Yep.
Since we are completely based on an open fabric or an open foundation, that is OpenShift, we are able to orchestrate data from these multiple infrastructure domains and get them and stitch them together in a fashion that helps you to get to an outcome. This is something that's fundamentally different from how a lot of the other technology vendors talk about it.
And this is where the RedHat OpenShift comes in?
Completely. RedHat OpenShift is the common fabric across these different infrastructure domains.
Yeah, kind of on-prem, your cloud, my cloud, someone else's cloud.
So I feel that this cloud discussion or the infrastructure discussion is where it's getting to a commodity stage. Now it's about we have to move from a cloud, which cloud, whose cloud discussion to more of a value and outcome-based discussion.
Yep.
How do you use the capability that comes to the cloud, and how do you combine it with the data that you have, data that some partners might have, data that I bring in? How do you able to take the combined value? So if you look at our solutions, I'm taking the weather data from the weather company, I'm taking asset information that comes from your asset repository, I'm able to combine it with a work and asset management system that probably is from me, that's Maximo, or it could be my partner, that's SAP. But the idea is we have to have all of these three data sets getting orchestrated to get to value. And that is something we can uniquely do because the common fabric across is RedHat OpenShift.
Now, a lot of the technology, the cognitive capabilities that's in here, and the data is oxygen, but Watson Assistant, Watson IoT, IBM blockchain, they're all building blocks potentially under the covers?
Absolutely, right. Now if you look at that, when we talk about all of these terminologies,
and that's only a few, right?
Yeah, that's only a few, right? For example, for me, all of these things are fundamental building blocks, right? So Watson Assistant is a fundamental building block. Our asset performance management solution is a building block. Veg, outage, our capabilities that we have in services delivery.
Yep.
All of these things are building blocks, right? Now all of these things need to be architected in such a way that they drive an outcome. That's how an intelligent workflow gets constructed. To construct an intelligent workflow, you have to take the fundamental building blocks that are going to come from me, from my partners, and also from the existing utility.
Yeah,
right?
they may have their own.
Yeah, they may have
whatever
their
they
own,
have, right?
So the idea is to work with what you have, but focus on outcomes, right? So that is where we as IBM are going. We want to ensure that we are able to get to value for our clients, because all our clients have gone through these multiple journeys. I also feel that the entire discussion about cloud is maturing. It is not about a speeds and feeds and services capability. It's about what kind of outcomes can I drive, and what is the speed at which can I get to outcomes. And we as IBM, we can definitely do outcomes in 3 domains: asset management, customer engagement, and the third is enterprise operations. And we are able to do all of this on a common fabric because of the capabilities from RedHat and OpenShift.
You know, one of the aha moments for me here, chatting with your team for the last couple of days, was kind of just trying to put them together in my head, and I'm a technology guy, no, they're cool, you can try it all together. But it was like chatting with your various solution leaders, and it was like, so I'll take vegetation management, and it's like, okay, I'll figure out in my entire service area which trees or vegetation I need to worry about first.
Right.
Because I'm doing that based on the impacts of an outage that could happen at that area, so I'm into the thing. And then I can if there's like the example that was used, the mild winter, leaves on the trees, snow, heavier trees, more trees will fall. There's a big storm coming in next week.
Absolutely.
And I can proactively call my customers through the cognitive customer care, say, come here, Saturday it could be a bit dodgy.
Yeah.
And you're like, customer, you know, regardless of the cool technology underneath, but it's like bringing those silos together.
Absolutely right.
And I can make sense out of that.
And this is happening because you are able to access the data from each of these fundamental places, then orchestrate the data in such a way that's meaningful for these individual applications, and finally, it is driving a common outcome for our clients.
The IT world I grew up in, everybody would have their own siloed app, and they never talk to each other.
And this unlocks a tremendous capability for utilities. Now, I am of the fundamental belief that utilities have all the data they need to solve the problems that they have. Whenever we talk about, it's not about getting to new data. It's about using your data that you already have.
The dark data, whatever you want to call it.
Dark data, and also the data that's in your multiple systems, also your partners. How can you harness all of that, orchestrate all of that, and focus on driving outcomes, right? And that is something that we as IBM are excited by.
Hey, good stuff.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.